Welcome to the channel, my name is Facecast, and this is an updated Art of War Legion's troop tier list. I'm going to do things a little differently this time around, and instead of making my own tier list, I'm going to share tier lists created by other people. And these other people are RYL Celtic, RYL Mad Titan, and the leader of RIP Johnny 77. So I want to give a big thanks to these guys for all the effort they put into this. Before we go any further, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video if you want to see more like it. This first tier list was created by RYL Celtic. He puts Frost Archers, Golems, Pelts, Rhino Knights, Demons, and Swordsmen in the S tier, followed by Undead Soldiers, Apprentices, Ice Mages, Catapults, and Brawlers in the A tier. He says, I base this list on the current use case, overall power, and how well the units doing their jobs compared to similar options. Right now, it's a bit early to know where the Taurus Witcher will fit. For the moment, I've ranked it good, but not great. The second tier list was created by the leader of Rest in Pieces, the one, the only, Johnny 77. Johnny puts Pelts, Frost Archers, Golems, and Rhino Knights in the S tier, followed by Swordsmen in the A+ tier, and Catapults, Archers, Ice Mages, Undead Soldiers, Brawlers, and Witchers in the A tier. He says you should get rid of F and E ranked troops as soon as possible. They are food for fusion material. And I ranked ranged troops like Archers, Cats, and Ice Mages higher than rear attacking troops because you generally need more of them, and ranged units seem to be the best at the moment. I ranked all three rear attacking troops the same because Magic Apprentices and Demons are very similar in terms of effectiveness. You just have to know the right situation. And Ghost Assassins work well with Selene, who is a top tier hero, otherwise they'd be lower. If you don't have Selene, 1 to 2 Ghost Assassins is the way to go in most cases. The third tier list was created by RYL Mad Titan. In the S tier, there are Frost Archers, Pelts, Golems, Rhino Knights, Demons, and Swordsmen, followed by Catapults, Undead Soldiers, Magic Apprentices, and the Witcher in the A tier. Mad Titan was kind enough to share great information about every troop, so I'm going to attempt to read it all verbatim. When I write this tier list, I am rating most of them with the thought of using them with Poseidon as my primary hero and my experience from using and testing all the troops. Frost Archers. If there was an S+ tier, I would put Frost Archers there. They are absolutely pivotal in most formations at top level, especially Poseidon. Poseidon formations, with plenty of them, are very difficult to beat. Peltists. They are very useful in key positions and doing very quick damage to enemy troops, especially enemy undead soldiers. Golems. Golems are amazing tanks, and their skill can inflict damage to multiple enemy troops. It can also temporarily stun them and make them stop attacking, which can come in handy against heroes who have very effective legendary skills. Rhino Knights, one of my favorite troops. They can cause chaos and disorientate the enemy, and with an attack of 960, he can do serious damage to enemy troops who have already been hit with Poseidon's Surging Tides passive skill at 5,500 attack damage. Demons are very useful to help Poseidon against Golems in the enemy back line, and has a very useful skill that can do 950 damage. For other heroes, Demons can be classified as A or A+ instead of S. Sacred Swordsmen. They are great. Sacred Swordsmen have the 4th highest attack power behind Rhino Knights, Meteor Golems, and Demons. Their special skill is very useful against melee units, and the fact he becomes invincible during the period makes it even better. Catapults, definitely one of the most important components of a Poseidon formation because they are great against enemy ranged troops like Frost Archers and Peltists. Highly recommended using at least 4 of them with Poseidon. They also complement high DPS troops like Frost Archers very well. Undead Soldiers. They make amazing tanks and are extremely durable because of their revive skill. Their skill also makes them very valuable against high power heroes such as Ivans, Selenes, and Poseidons. Magic Apprentices. They are extremely useful in helping to support Poseidon and Demons against enemy melee troops. They are immune to attacks until they land at the enemy back line, including being immune to enemy Poseidon Surging Tide skill. One drawback is the very low HP, which can become an issue when up against enemy Ivans and their passive skill. The Witcher, overall a very good ranged troop with a handy skill. Great to replace regular archers with, but would be difficult to find a spot for them in a formation that already has plenty of Frost Archers. Archers. Archers are very useful because they are high DPS, which can complement the lasting AoE damage with the catapults. The downside is that they have low HP and are not as effective as Frost Archers or Witchers. Beastmaster, a handy troop but not as useful as Sacred Swordsmen and Meteor Golems due to having a lower attack. One thing that makes them useful is that they effectively count as 2 troops with the Beastmaster and his bear. Ice Mage, a very good troop with a great skill. They can be very useful for reducing the movement speed of enemy single load tanks. One downside is that they are only a single load troop. Ghost Assassins, very useful in detonating enemy Goblikazes to protect magic apprentices. One downside is that with the high usage of Goblikazes, they have become less useful outside of Selene formations, but still can be used sparingly in Poseidon formations to protect him from Goblikazes and from being overwhelmed by melee troops until magic apprentices and demons arrive. Goblikazes. Goblikazes work fantastically against enemy backline attackers and can provide extra protection for your ranged troops if the backline is too slow to turn around. Brawlers. Brawlers are extremely useful in specific positions. Their shield is extremely useful and they are a must-have troop for honor hunting against Cerberus and Cyclops. Cactuses. A good melee troop that has a handy skill. Paladins, a great tank troop which has the highest HP in a single life of all the 9 load troops, and the shield they provide can be very useful. They are great to have until you get some undead soldiers to replace them. Harbinger of Fire, a very useful troop. Harbingers have a bit of range to them and can actually do damage from further away while other melee troops are using close combat attacks. They work great from the 3rd row or the 6th row in a central position. Ballista. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I actually don't think the Ballista is too bad. It can be useful with its special skill that has a 20% chance to do a critical damage of 275%, which is 1403 damage. So that is why it's in the C tier instead of the D tier. The Catapult is still much better in my opinion. Pilgrims, very useful in certain formations for the arena and are another important troop to have for honor hunting. Priest Mages. Priest Mages have high HP and attack strength, but Ice Mages are slightly better due to their special skill. Templar Knight, a good tank to have if you don't have Rhino Knights, Golems, or other single load tanks. They can also be useful for specific roles, so they go in the C tier instead of the D tier. Viking Warrior, a good single load tank unit to have as a beginner to intermediate player, as they have a useful skill and high HP. Inquisitor, a standard high DPS melee troop which is nothing spectacular, great for honor hunting. Bandits. Bandits are decent melee troops that can actually do damage by throwing daggers multiple times before the melee attack. Other melee troops like undead soldiers are much more useful, which is why bandits go in the D tier. Fire Mage. Fire Mages are okay, nowhere near as good as the Ice Mage, but can be used as a filler if you don't have any. Scholar, very underwhelming compared to the Ice Mage, and the repel skill is not very effective, but an improvement from bombers. Witchcraft Totem has a very low attack and HP for a single load unit legendary tank. The special skill can be useful in certain situations and can be used if you don't have any other single load tanks. Necromancer. I'm going to give the Necromancer a bit of love. Even though it's useless higher up in the arena where high level heroes survive longer and do a lot of damage, theoretically it can have its uses if you are lower ranked in the arena against lower level heroes which generally die sooner. If protected and allowed to live for a while, they may make the difference in very close matches with all their skeleton spawns. Soul Hunter, good single load tank, but there are plenty of others that are better. Bomber, a basic ranged troop for beginners until you can replace them with any of the mages. Ogre Warrior, the worst of the single load tanks with very low attack and very low HP. They can be very useful for beginners but should be replaced when you get the chance. And finally, in the F tier we have Infantry, Iron Guards, and Hell Jailers. He says that these are all basic troops that are good when you start but should gradually be replaced as you obtain better troops. Alright guys, that does it for this video. Thank you to Celtic, Mad Titan, and Johnny77. And also thank you to you guys for watching. Smash like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.